Parmesan to lentils?
Yeah.
If you put pepper on chocolate, it will taste of chocolate and pepper. If you put salt on chocolate, it will taste more of chocolate.
Yeah. So I'm in London today and I'm cooking with Amol Rajan. Amol Rajan is a broadcaster and journalist, and he said he'd like to cook a paneer curry with me. So we'll be cooking in here today. This is funny.
Here she is! Hello.
Thanks so much for agreeing to do this.
This was the most exciting start of anything I've ever done ever. It was like, which lift is it going to be? What's she going to be wearing? It's like this big reveal, the doors open.
Always an apron.
Always an apron. I know why as well.
And this isn't me.
Who's that?
This is the guy upstairs.
Do you need that to get in? Is it very high security?
Yeah, I think
I feel like I'm in Fort Knox here. This is like podcast Knox. You've got to be...
We're going up to number 5. Obviously, I usually do this at people's houses, but you're an exceptionally busy man. So.
I'm so sorry if I've changed the rules of your podcast. So I realise it's a fundamental change of approach.
No, it's cool. I get it. You are super busy.
I've also just got many, many children who are in the house.
You've got 4, right?
4 as far as I'm aware.
Under what age?
9.
Wow.
5, 3 and 1.
Oh, so you are in the maelstrom.
In the maelstrom, yeah. Do you remember that maelstrom? It's a different maelstrom now, isn't it? Now you got...
I've got teenagers.
I know, different, more kind of...
Definitely as difficult.
As difficult, but in a different way, right? So less biological, more emotional.
Oh, the emotion. I've got 3 girls.
Oh my days. I've got 3 girls and a boy.
Have you?
And I'll tell you what, I think it's harder being a young person these days. I think it's I think smartphones and all of that palaver, I think it's hard. Oh my days.
This is welcome to my kitchen. Right.
This is a kitchen and a half.
So how this is going to go, Amol, is that I've asked you to teach me your favourite thing to cook. You said you were going to cook a paneer curry.
I'm so excited for this.
But then you didn't give me a shopping list, which is fine as well.
So you've got a lot of ghee. Have you got enough ghee? I'm not sure we've got quite enough ghee. I think we need more ghee. I'm
second guessing what you need. I bought my spices from home, but you teach me how you want to cook this. I've got spinach and peas in the fridge. I've got rice. And then everything you can see in front of you.
Okay, so the fundamental premise of your podcast, which is people turn up who pretend to know more than you about food, is
not pretend that they are going to teach me what their favourite dishes to cook.
Have you had much chili paneer in the past?
I've had a couple of dishes, yeah.
Okay, it is just the most delicious thing, and I promise you're going to love it. And it's quite hard to mess it up, so I hope as I go along, you can just cajole me into the kind of...
No, I'm not cajoling you. You're going to cajole me.
I'm just going to cook it. Fantastic.
I'm going to follow you. I can chop for you if you want me to.
I can chop. What I'm just thinking about is, so I'm going to reduce these tomatoes and onion, a nice little base with some spice. Lots of spice. You got cumin?
Got cumin seeds and ground cumin. I was second guessing. I've got garam masala, I've got mustard seeds, I've got whole chili, Kashmiri chili, I've got dried chili.
You've got absolutely everything.
I got fenugreek. I've got curry leaves. I just was second guessing.
I'm so up for it. Can I just say how happy I am to be here?
Okay.
Since I started following you on Instagram, my life has got much better.
Well, I could say the same about you. Really.
You really have transformed my kind of evenings from being quite crap to being significantly better. Okay. And the way you've done that is by giving me inspiration. Shall I start cooking? Yeah. Can I get it going? So.
Do you want to get the rice on, or should I get the rice? If you start cooking, do you want me to cook rice?
Because the rice doesn't require any skill, I might just allow you to do that.
Okay, thanks very much.
That's all right. Because, obviously...
Are you happy cooking in an enamel pot?
Yeah. God, the technical questions have begun as well. I'm not fussy about this. Oh, you've got sharp knives as well.
They're not sharp, or they are sharp?
They're very sharp.
Oh, yeah, they're quite good.
God, you know she's a chef when she just runs her finger along the blade of a sharp knife.
You know she's not a chef when she doesn't know how to do this. Right, there we go.
Are you loving your new life as a podcast queen? Am I allowed to call you that? A food influencer? An Instagram superstar? Is this
I'm a chef by trade, and then I started having children, and that didn't dovetail very nicely with running restaurants and having children. So now I write about food.
Yeah. Write a lot.
Right, that's on, I think. That one.
But see, your experience, I imagine, of Instagram, which I assume is a largely positive one, because hopefully it's you don't get trolled by horrible bots, because you're talking about
sometimes.
food. Do you?
Especially about cooking rice.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, people get cross about cooking rice.
What do these bots kind of have a go at you about?
Well, it's
How
very
you cook-
particular. How do you cook your rice?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think in a kind of. I mean, I cook it in boiling water. Is that
Do you
controversial?
cook it till it's drained, till all the water's evaporated, or do you drain it?
I drain it.
Do you ever rinse your rice?
Oh my God, are these controversial subjects that I'm
Yeah.
wading into? I don't think. I think I then rinse it. What, you meant to leave the starchy water or something?
I don't even bother rinsing it sometimes. I'm just going to boil it now.
Yeah, that's fine. That
Okay.
can't be controversial. Who exists on the internet to give you a hard time about how you cook rice, for goodness sake?
People do, but
Haven't they got
listen.
better things to do?
This is. How do you put this on?
Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just coarsely chopping some onions.
Yeah, coarsely.
And I think what the basic vibe of a chili paneer curry, like most curries,
Yeah.
is you create a base with some tomato and onion that you reduce down with a lovely mixture of spices, quite
Yeah.
a lot of ghee. You separately fry the paneer. Paneer, for those who don't know, is essentially an Indian cottage cheese.
Yep.
It's got a lovely texture, a bit like feta, but not quite that sort of sour twang that you get in feta.
Sour twang, liking this.
Sour twang. And I used to be a restaurant critic, don't you know? And I basically just cook them separately and then put them into this lovely reduction. And I'm thinking about what I'm going to do with this coriander. Is that going to be a fresh thing at the end? Yeah, maybe.
So, talk to me about how you want this paneer chopped.
Cubes, please.
Right, small.
I would like cubes of 0.8 centimetres by 0.9 centimetres. I would say 4, yeah.
That big?
Yeah, that big, perfect.
Okay.
Oh my God, you nailed it.
So,
Straight away.
you used to be a restaurant critic.
I used to be a restaurant critic. Please tell me how much you hate restaurant critics. It would make me feel a lot better. Where do I put all this?
Here, in here.
Did you ever get reviewed unfavourably by a restaurant critic?
Well, Jay Rayner came into our restaurant and then loved it, but then didn't review it. So that wasn't great.
Jay, next time you're about, now he's
Have a
got a
little
swanky
chat.
new job. Swanky new job for the Financial Times. Yeah, I feel quite like I went on a bit of a journey as a restaurant critic because I used to think, as I think a lot of people did, and this was obviously at a time when newspapers were a lot more influential, that your job was to be brutal and
Mean.
and that's how you get, that's how people take you seriously. And to be honest, the more I know about food and the more I know a bit about business, the more I realise that restaurants and pubs are just full of really hard-working people
It's such a hard job.
who have very tight margins, who work very unsociable hours, and who, deserve a break. And I kind of feel there's only one or two restaurant reviews that I wrote, which I now look back on. I'm just like, why did you do that?
What were you mean?
Why was I mean? I mean, the food was dreadful, but like.
You're doing your job then.
But yeah, but like, do they need? I mean, does the world need that? And if it caused them like an impact on their business, and there's some little lovely pub in a distant part of the country, I kind of feel like there's no point doing that, man.
Right, you got your onion chopped up.
I'm going to do 2 onions. Is that all right? Is that too much?
No, you go for it.
So I reckon what we're going to do is we're going to reduce this onion in quite a lot of oil and a bit of ghee. God, look at that ghee. That's what, if you chop my body up inside, that's what comes out. Pure, delicious ghee. Ghee is clarified butter, yes? No
It's delicious,
salt. I know, it's
isn't
amazing.
it?
I know. I feel like English people generally don't know enough about...
It's got the most sweet, nutty, like lactic taste to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's delicious.
Exactly.
So, do you want some ghee in here?
Ghee and a bit of oil, please.
Oil might struggle.
Are you
for
my...
oil.
No, ghee's fine. Are you my sous chef? Is this how it works?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're teaching me, and I'm going to then recreate Amol Rajan's Paneer Curry on my Instagram,
Oh, my days.
and people will be able to cook it at home.
Has Instagram been this wonderful kind of boon in your life? Is it kind of, have you realised that it's created excitement, work, connections, promoted your brilliant books?
I think it's a really useful space for. I think in the sense of social media, I think it's a really nice space if you've got something that you want to share.
Yes.
Be it, knowledge, wisdom, cookery.
A passion.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good space. But
I'll slightly pause this up. Is that
I'm
Slightly
not going to judge you on your.
coarse.
I can do it for you if you want me to.
Yeah, go on, please. Thank you very much indeed. Instagram has really restored my faith in social media, and therefore, oh my gosh.
But you. I have done this for a lot, haven't I? So
I mean, I almost think that's almost like a passive-aggressive manoeuvre there, because what you're doing is very efficiently and quickly doing what took me quite a long time to do. Okay, that's fine.
It's fine.
I'm relaxed about that. That's cool. Have you got some, yes, please, madam. Have you got some sort of spatula? Here we go.
Yeah.
I do love a good spatula.
Do you?
I think a good spatula is pretty much my. Are you gonna? Can you do the same thing, broadly speaking, with those tomatoes, and just do it much faster and better than me?
You stir. I'll chop.
I'll stir and direct. Yeah, I feel like Instagram it's my faith
Do you want it
in.
turned up?
Yes, please. My faith in social media is restored by Instagram because I have had a rather nice time, and I had many years on Twitter, which was horrible. And there comes a point where you're like, why am I just like, I wouldn't walk into a pub and just take all this abuse and get punched in the face by all these people.
That's horrible.
So why would I do that?
I love your Instagram, Amol. I love that it's running university challenge.
I know. And then pompous things about a new Cold War.
Yeah.
Yeah. And quite a lot of, I think,
so your job is like, so you were a restaurant critic and then you became
the restaurant critic
what are you
thing.
looking for?
Another pan, a separate pan. Do we have a separate pan?
What
For paneer, which I'm going to cook separately.
You've got a massive pan.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm just going to fry it off. So what we want to do is we just want to fry off the paneer just so it's got slightly crisp edges.
Right, okay.
Because what you want is that lovely contrasting texture where you've got the crisp edge of the paneer and then the soft underbelly. And that gives you a little something to bite into. So I became a restaurant critic because I worked in newspapers for 10 years, which is not a flourishing profession, I think it's fair to say right now. And being a restaurant critic was a side job.
Yeah, because you've always been a journalist, right?
Yeah, I've always been a journalist.
Was that your passion from the beginning? Did you always think, I want to be a journalist?
I wanted to be a cricket player, Claire.
Okay.
I was going to... Do you know who the Australian Shane Warne is?
I do. He died recently,
Shane Warne
didn't
died a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit annoying of him. So Shane Warne was this unbelievably cool, glamorous Australian.
He was like the bad boy of cricket.
He was the bad boy. He was what the Australians called a larrikin. And he tormented the English with his incredible spin bowling. And I wanted to be a spin bowler. And that's what I spent many, many moons trying very hard to become and failing completely. Because crucially, I wasn't good enough.
So your failed cricket career led you to be one of the leading lights in broadcast journalism.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I basically used to read newspapers and I fell in love with the romance of newspapers growing up. So when I was growing up, I basically used to read the Times newspaper.
Right. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in South London.
Right.
In Tooting. And for the kids listening, a newspaper is a printed product which contained news and things like sport. And I used to read the
How
sports
much did it
pages.
cost the Times?
Oh, those were the days. I think the Times probably cost about 80p.
Wow.
But we used to do a little coupon thing, and me and my beloved parents would get it. And I'd run down to the shop and I'd read all about all the cricket that's going on. And basically, I wanted to be a cricket player. And then crucially, I wasn't nearly good enough. And so I ended up becoming a journalist instead. And I think a lot of journalists are just generalists. I think they're people who are interested in lots of different things. And
That's a great statement. A journalist is a generalist.
Yeah, so I kind of like, I know a bit about food, I know a bit about sport, I know a bit about politics, I know a bit about history. And I think if you are interested in lots of different things, but you can't decide to pursue one thing in particular, I'd sort of recommend journalism.
Yeah.
Other good reasons not to become a journalist, like the fact that newspapers and other industries are in a state of collapse. But
So how do you feel like your job is going to change in the years of your job, your lifeline as a journalist, from the beginning to the end? Do you see how will it change?
Well, it'll become more digital and everyone will consume it with the incredible friction-free global distribution of like the internet, which is the distribution part of it.
Explain friction-free.
So the amazing thing about the internet, so newspapers, I spent years and years and years, which is going to strike some people as absolutely mad, but at a desk, basically changing like the captions on a page, thank you very much, Lee, changing the captions on a page, and then sending that page off by PDF effectively to a printer, and that printer would print loads of copies of a physical newspaper and then put it in a van, and that van would drive all around the country, including to newsagents, and people would have to go to the newsagent and buy this physical copy, and the newsagent would take a cut. And the internet just cuts out that entire distribution network, which makes it very, very cheap and free and convenient. And most products and most markets tend towards convenience. In the end, like convenience is what customers want. So I think the distribution is going to be ultra convenient and digital. But really sad truth is the journalistic industry is in quite a big state of crisis. People don't pay for news like they used to. And all of the trends are towards opinion, social media, which is not great for the truth. I'm going to make a little spice concoction here now. What I'm going to do is in this pestle and mortar, I think basically cumin is my main spice. I love cumin.
Why do you love cumin so much?
I don't know why. I'm very Indian, I think, in my food consumption. And cumin to me, how do you describe that? It's so pungent. It's so aromatic.
And a sort of citrusy sort of spice note to it, hasn't it?
Citrusy, well, yes, it is citrusy.
I think it's got that kind of citrus spice.
So I've got maybe a tablespoon of cumin. I'm going to put effectively a tablespoon of, these are coriander seeds, yeah?
Yeah.
Not mustard seeds, I'm not going mad.
No. Coriander seeds.
My mum would be so proud. She'd say, I really taught you well. And I'm going to
mash
them up as a measuring thing,
Right.
And I'm going to mash them up in a pestle and mortar.
Right.
Very strongly in favour of fresh spices rather than dry spices. I think dry spices have a very different flavour. And this is just going to...
What do you mean fresh and dry? Like this is a dried spice, whole spice?
I mean, I'm talking about herbs. Sorry. Very strongly in favour of fresh herbs and dry spices.
Yes.
But dry spices, which are, rather than it being ground...
Are people that are funny about ground spices? But I'm
not going to troll you about it on Instagram, about your troll...
I think if you use your spice and you replenish often and use it, with gusto and you refresh them, I think round spices are fine.
Well, you know more about it than I do. I'm going to take your lead on that. But I'll tell you what, if you smell that, to me, coriander seeds is the smell of samosas. Yeah. Because samosas with potato or lamb or whatever it might be lean heavily on coriander seeds. So I'm just going to try and mash them up a little bit so that they're all kind of opened up, and then I'm going to put them into the onion mixture with some chilli and some turmeric.
Who taught you to cook? Your mum?
Yeah, my mum is everyone's mum is the best cook in the world. Well, my mum is actually the best cook in the world.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I feel so lucky to have experienced as a kid is that I think people think of Indian food here as like their local curry house, which is usually Punjabi or Bengali or Gujarati food. And my mum is from the west of India, a place called Pune near Bombay, and my dad was from Tamil Nadu in the southeast.
Spices are going into the
Spices are going in, and I think we're going to have some...
I've been to Tamil Nadu.
Have you?
Yeah, I travelled through it, and we stayed in Madurai.
Madurai is an amazing place.
So beautiful.
Madurai is an amazing place.
The amazing temples that you climb up to. And
so that's kind of where my dad grew up,
now,
I've got a lot of turmeric here. Am I going to use it? I'm going to use this little...
I can give you a spoon,
teaspoon. Why don't we do a teaspoon,
if you want one.
But the Tamil cuisine is a little half a teaspoon...
Half a teaspoon of turmeric.
And I reckon half a teaspoon of...
This is Kashmiri dried chilli. This is chilli flakes, generic. And these are whole Kashmiri chillies.
I've never cooked with a dried chilli. Should we try that?
With these ones?
No, these bad, but what's this?
This
Kashmiri.
is delicious, yeah.
I've never...
It's not too hot.
Let's do it. Should we do it?
Yeah, you do.
But use a different spoon or same spoon.
Let's not worry about it.
I'm going to use...
How spicy do you like?
I like it very spicy.
Yeah.
Like too spicy, guys?
I like spice.
I'm going to put an entire teaspoon in there and watch that go nuts. So Tamil cuisine is completely different to... It's a bit more like Korean. It's like hot and sour.
Yeah.
And my mum cooked a lot of that growing up, and she also cooked a lot of Maharashtra food because she's from the West Indies. She put the tomatoes in and reduced it down to a wonderful... If only you chopped all of those onions, it would be a perfect texture now, whereas some of them are a little bit coarse because of my
So what was a classic dinner for you growing up?
So we sometimes have Tamil food. So people will know dosa, idli dosa, which is like rice powder and lentils all mashed up. Dosa is like the pancake or crepe kind of, which is when it's fried. Idli is when it's boiled, and it's absolutely delicious with an amazing fresh coconut curry. I've actually just literally cycled from my house in North London to my mum's house in South London because my cousin's here, and my mum just in the morning she's got rasam, which is like a hot sour soup, incredibly spicy. She's just like, here's some rasam. And I'm like, when did you do that? But I think she just spends all day cooking all the time.
I love rasam soup, and I love that it's got that sourness.
It's amazing. It's tamarind.
Yes.
I love tamarind. What is tamarind? It's a fruit, right? Tamarind.
It looks like a
brown,
date. It's a pod.
Yeah.
It's got a sour, sort of sweet.
Let's turn this up. Do you cook with Indian ingredients a lot?
I can cook anything, if I'm honest, because that's my
job.
So
are there certain cuisines you cook more of than others?
Probably.
Chefs are quite French, aren't they? They love French cuisine.
Yes, and no, I don't really do that. So probably my go-to is probably Indian or Italian.
Italian, huh?
I think so.
Whereabouts in Italy?
Anywhere. I just love stuff that has chili, and there's that sort of, Calabria, down south, Sicily, that kind of food.
So my dad, who's no longer with us, he would never go to a restaurant because he was poor and he didn't really believe in restaurants. But if he would ever be given English food, you like get. I mean, I know this is just a different approach to cooking, but like you would get a plate of English food and there'd be like some vegetables with like salt and butter, and my dad would be like, "Okay, are you gonna now go and cook it? Like, what are you doing? Like,
where's the flavour?
Where's the flavour?" And do you know what? I'm kind of with him, and I know that there's a kind of culture of. I once said this to the late A.A. Gill, who then wrote it up in the following week's review, where he said Indian people like this local critic, i.e. me, need to learn the power of bland.
Gosh, you had beef with A.A. Gill.
I wouldn't say I had beef with it. No, I wouldn't have beef with it. I was just ranting about this over dinner.
Do you want this?
And he was like, but there's nothing better than a dry potato. And I don't know. Like, for instance, I've just been to Lanzarote, thank you, which was wonderful, where they do these very particular potatoes, which they kind of dehydrate. So they boil them,
right,
cover them in salt, and then dehydrate them. And the thing that they do with it is like a red, not chimichurri sauce, it's like they've got a red sauce and a green sauce.
Yeah.
And that's where the flavour is. And the potato, to me, is like a vehicle. And so when you go to a posh English restaurant, sorry, it's going to offend my entire English family and probably everyone listening to this podcast, but sod it. When you go to an English restaurant and you do get, I mean, you would have done it, where you just serve boiled vegetables, I do find it a bit weird. Sorry.
I would never serve just boiled vegetables, but like I do like this sort of Italian preparation of vegetables where you have like good olive oil, salt, lemon, simple. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
okay.
Perfectly seasoned. And also,
where the flavour is what the flavour is in the vegetable, and then you season it to accentuate the flavour, right?
Yeah, I think that is the skill in a great chef or a cook, is when you can take something and not add so many ingredients and it still tastes absolutely delicious.
Isn't that just the calibre of the ingredients?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the skill in the cook, I think. If you cook green beans perfectly and give them a tiny bit of lemon and salt and some olive oil, really good olive oil. That's the luxury of cooking, isn't it? If you start off with good ingredients and you finish it with good ingredients, how can you find cooking hard?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my take.
What did you cook and what did you serve in your restaurant in Cornwall?
We were the chefs in a pub in Cornwall. We cooked. It was like pub of the year when we were there. It was a great pub. My daughter was born down there. But it was right near Zena, right at the bottom.
And I know the North Cornish coast
She was the pub baby. She was like the mascot in the pub. But then we moved to Bristol and we had a restaurant and we cooked. It was a sort of, I would say, broadly Mediterranean, Spanish, Italian influence.
Right.
Portuguese, yeah.
So my wife is from Devon, so we spent a lot of our life in Devon and Cornwall. So what's just happening now, which I quite like, is that the tomatoes have gone soft.
And so the fat is all bubbling because it's kind of dissipated.
Exactly.
Into
So it's just kind of turning into a glorious mulch, basically. Now, I want your advice on something, which is, when should we introduce the coriander? Late for that fresh twang?
I would do the stalks in there and then keep the leaves for the top.
Wow. It's almost like you really, really, really know what you're talking about.
It's almost like I might have made this.
It's almost like your career is based on knowing what you're talking about.
Do you want? I would put the stalks in.
How long does it take you to learn how to chop vegetables like that?
Well, I have been doing it for quite a long time.
Wow.
I could say the same with you, with your, in your studio at work. Here we go. In.
Yes, please. Thanks, chef.
Pleasure.
What? Look at those colours.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Absolutely glorious.
So you're going to go. So we've got turmeric, cumin, coriander, salt, and a bit of chili.
Yeah,
that's
a bit
it.
of chili. Yeah, I would quite like to introduce some of those chilies a bit later on.
Are you going to taste it as you go, or? Do you want me to find a saucepan to do the paneer?
Taste the food as you cook it. That is a revolutionary idea.
We've got a fancy pan here.
There's a pan for the little paneer. And do you know what we could do? Is we could start getting the paneer going.
Yeah.
We could more ghee. I think we need more ghee as a general principle.
I quite like cooking with ghee because it can go to that high point in frying, more than olive oil, for example.
I don't really understand that. Can it? You can
get it's clarified butter, so it can go hotter.
Ah.
If you use a really expensive olive oil at a really high heat, then it can take away some of the nutrients that you get in that oil.
Ah, we don't want that.
Whereas
because that's the thing about your incredible things that you recommend. They all seem so goddamn healthy. Your
salt and fat though is key.
Salt and fat is key to make things delicious.
Tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is going off. Do you want this?
That's gonna go. That we're gonna fry that. We're gonna make that. Get that properly melted.
Yep.
And then we're going to use a spoon just to turn the paneer. We just want to cook the edges of the paneer. It goes a gorgeous colour. Paneer is quite. You can salt it up quite a lot, can't you? Because it doesn't really have much.
It doesn't have any taste.
flavour.
So you could because
it's really a massive vehicle for. Yeah.
What isn't a vehicle? It doesn't taste of anything really, does it? Just like
That's
dairy.
good, isn't it? Yeah. There's a dairy taste, but it's got such an amazing texture that when we put it in here,
Yeah.
I might turn this down a little bit.
Is this one of your sort of go-to family dishes?
Yeah, it's paneer is my thing growing up. My mum knew that I would love it, so she always makes it when there's certain things that, you know, mums know, like she makes it. I love paneer. My mum does it in loads of different ways. And I do quite a lot of cooking at home.
Are you the main cook?
I wouldn't say the main cook. I mean, you know, my wife will have strong views about whether or not I'm the main cook, but I like structuring a weekend around cooking. So I like basically get out of the house, because otherwise you spend all of Saturday morning emptying the dishwasher, filling the dishwasher. You know those Saturday mornings when you're four kids and you're just like, oh my God, this is taking forever. So I like getting out of the house and then basically buying some ingredients and cooking, and that being like kind of the main activity.
And in that process, do you see the ingredients and then decide what to cook, or do you know what you want to cook, then go and find the ingredients?
I know what I want to cook, and there's certain things I cook quite a lot. So we cook a roast a hell of a lot. Do you know what I'd quite like to learn how to do, and maybe get your advice on, is how to make a roast chicken more interesting, because I always just do the same thing. I do it like broccoli. My kids amazingly eat broccoli, and they also eat kale. Kids will eat kale. If you put kale in the oven with a bit of olive oil and salt, it comes out like green crisps.
Crispy.
Yeah, and kids will go for it. So I just like to kind of make that more interesting. But I really get excited about discovering a new recipe and then cooking it with my kids, especially my daughters. So last week we did a strawberry ice cream.
Right.
And it's ice cream. It's actually really easy. Double cream and condensed milk, basically.
Yeah, so no egg yolk ice cream.
Oh no, this is no.
Double cream whisked in a KitchenAid or something.
So chop up the
frying off his paneer.
We're going to turn it regularly.
Yeah.
So chop
with my
up
fingers.
with your fingers. That's what chefs have the confidence to do. Ow. So you chop up you hull and halve the strawberries.
Right.
Bit of sugar. I don't like putting too much sugar in it because I'm trying to avoid sugar generally. Put them in some lemon juice of like 4 lemons maybe. Leave them in the fridge for 2 hours, and then you mash them up with a food processor.
Yeah.
And leave kind of smallish chunks. And then just in a bowl, you mix maybe 3 parts double cream to 2 parts condensed milk.
Which does have sugar in it.
Oh, dear. Now you've spoiled my fun. It was
very
going so well.
Think like then.
Yeah.
Just lemon juice, no sugar at all.
Yeah, exactly. And then you basically freeze it and you stir it a couple of times.
Yeah, nice.
Stir it to give it that.
And did your kids think you were some kind of like wizard for making that? Making ice cream? Your dad makes ice cream for you?
And we serve it with, I still call them hundreds and thousands, which is like...
I think that's what they're called. It's sprinkles.
Sprinkles, yeah. So what do I need to think about here? So we're basically gonna... What we're gonna do is we're having browned those.
I've got peas and spinach in the fridge and freezer if you want. I just was second guessing you.
I think peas.
Yeah.
I think I probably want to do peas and spinach.
No,
just
I
peas.
did one or the other.
Yeah. This is called makta paneer. I don't know why I put on that accent, but I think I can. Makta paneer, which is delicious. Okay, we're going to whack them in.
Who doesn't have frozen peas?
This is basically healthy. This is great. Cut out the rice, and you've got a keto-friendly dish here.
Why?
Sorry, am I?
You don't want to be. Rice isn't unhealthy, is it?
Do you know something?
Sorry.
I think no. I think rice, brown rice is good.
Yeah, it's better.
I'm trying to avoid starchy carbs. I'm trying to avoid it, not with huge success.
Why?
Because I've been overweight all my life, and at this point you're meant to say, "Oh, you don't look overweight at all."
You don't look overweight at all.
Thank you very much, Adika. Good. Cheers, thanks. You were right on it with that one. My dear dad, when he died 3 years ago, died of complications of type 2 diabetes.
Okay.
And I'm going to get type 2 diabetes because if you're of Asian heritage, or also if you're black, you've got a much, much higher chance of getting it. And I've been overweight for most of my life. And so I'm trying to delay.
But do you know for sure you're going to get diabetes?
I think you're very, very... Both my parents have got it. So
okay.
if you go on your... and I recommend anyone listening do this. If you go on the website, nhsdiabetes.com or whatever, just Google it, you can assess your diabetes risk.
Right.
And if you've been slightly overweight all your life, obviously I'm in great shape, aren't I?
Totally.
Thank you so much. If you've been slightly overweight your life and you're over the age of 40, as I now am, and your parents have got it, and you're South Asian, it's like tick, 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 and it says your risk, even if you reduce your weight, is very, very high. So I'm probably going to get it. And the thing is, I just want to get it a little bit later. Yeah.
You've got young kids.
I've got young kids.
40?
I'm 41.
Yeah, you're young.
And I'm do you know something? I'm really motivated to live a long time. That's one thing that I've taken away from grief is that, by the way, with these lovely peas that I put in, I'm not going to mash them up. I actually might take this off the gas because I now don't want the peas to lose their texture. I'd like the peas to have a little bit of bite. Is that all right?
It's 100% perfect.
Leave it there. Okay.
What?
So I'm basically avoiding carbs is my general thing, which I know is not a great thing to say on a foodie podcast, but it's true.
I feel like we all watch out for the fat. I don't want to burn you, Amol. How crispy do you want? Crispy?
I want 2 of the 4 sides of all of them to be that texture, please. That one there.
We're all going to be living a lot longer, aren't we? And that's down to lots of many things. I was listening to you, as you do.
Harp on about something.
No, interviewing Tony Blair.
Interviewing Tony Blair, yeah.
And you were talking about longevity and the fact that we're all, in an aging climate, going to be living that much longer. And that's a good thing, isn't it?
That's a wonderful thing. And I think it's important to... So this country, in the next 20 years, the number of people who are 85 or over is going to double. So like Britain is going great.
Wild. That's such a wild thought.
It's wild. And we're not aging as fast as Italy or Germany or South Korea, all of which are both aging faster and have got a really collapsing birth rate. So you and me are complete outliers and having had lots of children. Like people in my generation, generally speaking, are not having kids at all, which I think is for quite obvious reasons, which is that it's just so damn hard to buy a house.
And it's scary. Like I talked to my 12-year-old and she's really frightened of the news, the climate change in the morning. She hears it. I have to turn the news down. She's just like, what is happening?
This is all hardcore, yeah.
It's a lot to take on as a kid, isn't it?
Shall we taste this and see if we think this is seasoned sufficiently?
Whereas my stock answer when I hear someone on the radio, for example, you, talking about scary things like that, my stock answer is like someone really clever is going to come up with a solution.
So that's...
climate change is going to be okay.
Well... Okay, that's delicious. Do you know what, Baz? I think that is absolutely delicious. And I cooked it. And that makes me feel quite good about it. So, here we go.
Chef Claire. Delicious.
Happy? Bit more salt?
A bit more salt.
Bit more salt, here we go. Chef, what do you do to compensate for the fact that being a chefy chef, you kind of like food quite heavily seasoned?
I'm all right with that. I don't buy much sort of processed food. I cook everything from scratch. So the salt that I add to my cooking is...
A little bit more salt.
It's perfect. It's chili heat, isn't it?
I'm not really getting much chili. I was thinking maybe we could afford a little bit more.
Go.
I think we could afford a little bit more.
I feel like I get why you're under seasoning because of what we just discussed, But
I the thing about living longer is it's an incredibly exciting thing because I think when you hit well, it's not bad. Well, I'm slightly concerned that I'm seeing quite a lot of white on some of them.
Oh, so. You don't want any white?
No, that's perfect. Just what about these? That one.
I'm doing turning paneer with my fingers to get it right.
This is beautiful. We're a great team. We're a great team. This is working out great. Now, what we've just got to be a little bit careful of here is I don't want these peas to lose their texture. Should I try and give it a bit more heat? If I was going to introduce a bit more heat now, it'd be what this chili flake here.
That's really hot.
Really hot, just a little bit.
I can go hot. I love hot food.
Okay.
But that's quite hot, I think.
It's got seeds, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, go.
Seeds are where the heat is in chili, as my mum often said. Maybe that's a bit much. Don't want to go wild here.
There we go. Right.
There's some people like I don't know if you've eaten much Sri Lankan cuisine.
Yeah.
But Sri Lankan cuisine is just crazy hot. Like they find it so boring. Like what my dad thinks when he's served a plate of vegetables with butter and he's like, go away and cook it. Can you actually give me some flavour here, you absolute nutters? Like take that to another level, and that's what Sri Lanka's like. I would not recommend Sri Lankan cuisine in Sri Lanka if you don't like heat. Right, let's whack them in. Go on.
How does your wife? She's from Devon.
My wife is very
Does she like
English.
The spice?
Yeah, she does. She's a real foodie. She really, really, really knows about food. So any intelligent things that I wrote when...
How long have you been together?
20 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
20 years, 19 years. It felt like 20.
These are facts you need to know,
These are
Amol.
facts, yeah. 20.
Maybe.
We got together on Valentine's Day 2006.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that lovely? And we've been married. We got married in September 2013. So married for 12 years. Wow.
What food did you have at your wedding?
Oh, we had a bit of a kind of Indian twang. So her surname is Faircloth and my surname is Rajan. And our children, we didn't know it then, our children's surname is Rajcloth. We've created a new surname.
Love that.
Rajcloth. It sounds a little bit like a garment factory in Bangalore. I'm off to Bangalore.
Rajcloth.
But yeah, we sort of had a Rajcloth theme. So English, but with a bit of a kind of Indian cuisine. So I think there was like a mango kulfi at some point, which is a lovely mango milk-based pudding. Then we also had French wine, so that's a bit
Not
weird.
so far off your strawberry ice cream if it's got condensed milk.
Coffees with condensed milk. Okay, yeah. So we had amazing food at our wedding. Got married in Cambridge, and 300 people, 100 of whom were Indian people I've never met since. They get wheeled out. This wonderful collective of old ladies who kind of every weekend they're on the bus. Oh, we need fresh coriander. That's what we need now, Claire.
Coriander.
So what we've done was we've folded in the paneer. We just gently sort of turned it. Very keen not to lose the bite and toughness of the peas. The flavour's good. You're going to have another little...
Flavour's good.
Flavour's good. And we're going to just introduce a fresh bit of paneer.
Bit of fresh paneer?
Yeah.
Fresh coriander.
No coriander.
In there. And stirred through a little bit.
Stirred through. I think it needs more salt. Do you think it needs more salt?
I just know it's going to need more salt.
Oh my God. Do you look at people salting things and think, come on, you idiots, you absolute amateurs?
The peas are really sweet, though, aren't they?
The peas are gorgeous.
That's delicious.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
Now we've got rice.
I was quite nervous cooking for you. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah.
You are allowed to say that, yeah.
Because you're sort of you're a cheese. Not a cheese, a metaphorical cheese, and you sort of know about this stuff. But I do find you're very intimidating with your cooking, and I'm very grateful for it.
Well, I felt intimidated cooking with you for different reasons.
Me? I'm the least intimidating person you've ever met.
My friend worked with you.
Oh God.
She was the producer at
no.
News at 10.
Oh my God.
And she said that you were one of, quote, the cleverest people she'd ever met.
Okay, I'll take that. Did she also say that I'm one of the nicest?
She said you were a gentleman, but you were just fiercely clever, is what she said.
Gentleman, but clever. I'll take that. I've got a thing. All you guys are like, yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, gentleman, but clever. Now, I've got a big question for you.
Yeah.
Which is, what do you think about the radical introduction of some lemon zest?
Wow, I would do lemon juice. And my knowledge of Indian cooking is lemon juice is everywhere.
So lemon juice is a way of reducing the spice, isn't it?
I think
lemon
you should do it.
No, lemon juice, let's do it.
Why were you going to do lemon zest?
I think I'm just quite into lemon zest at the moment. Like, it's a kind of like...
Because that's brilliant. Because that's not typically what I would imagine
It's just got a lot of flavour,
Yeah.
We want to avoid the old seedies coming in.
I would just do it through your hand, but maybe not.
Oh my God, you actually know what you're doing, really? Okay. I'm very glad that your friend was nice about me. I've got a thing that I really want, and I hope this is true, that every single place that I work, everyone says I'm the nicest person they've worked with. That's kind of an aim I sort of set out. So I'm disappointed your mate
She didn't say you were the nicest, yeah. She said you were one of the cleverest people she'd ever met, and you were a real gentleman.
I'll take that. That's
quite
nice,
isn't it?
That's nice, yeah. That's
Imagine
cool.
if I had different feedback, you'd be like,
oh God. But would you have told me if I had different feedback?
Probably not.
Okay.
Right, we've got rice. So
rice. Okay,
rice?
so we're going to serve it with rice and then a little... And did you serve your curries in a little cup? I mean, I could just spoon it onto the plate, really.
Yeah, in a. Oh, you mean like a little?
In a little sort of tumbler. No, I think just as is. I think as is.
Right, we're lacking in.
Could you give me your honest assessment about the seasoning of this?
Because you know what I'm going to say, don't you? But maybe with the. The lemon's good.
Lemon's good. Lemon really gave it a whole new dimension. A bit more salt.
I would do myself, but that's because I'm cooking. I mean, the chef man said, but you're cooking. Given the conversation we've had about reducing your, cholesterol and stuff.
Oh, I'm not worried about any of that. No, I'm just worried about carbs. Oh no. More fat, the better. I think a bit more
delicious.
salt. A little bit more salt. Tiny bit more salt.
Yeah, I would definitely have more salt. But I would also go more salt at the beginning of my cooking.
Yes,
That's a really good way to mitigate salt use, is if you season more assertively at the beginning than at the end.
Wow.
Because it gets imbued in the cooking. So salt brings out flavour, doesn't it?
Accentuates it, doesn't it?
And that's why people add more and more salt at the end, because they haven't got it in at the beginning.
I did a cooking course once at Ashburton Cookery School.
Fancy.
And I took away from that pepper is not seasoning. Pepper is a spice.
Pepper, I've got pepper.
If you put pepper on chocolate, it will taste of chocolate and pepper. If you put salt on chocolate, it will taste more of chocolate.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
There you go, kids. You learn something new every day.
But pepper also, as my understanding, is very much used in Indian cookery.
Yeah, massively.
As a kind of, not as a, British cooking, quote unquote.
No, it's actually used in Indian cooking, yeah.
It's salt and pepper is like a generic end of table seasoning, but I think of pepper as this incredible, delicious spice.
Yeah. But don't you think Indian cooking's just basically got a completely different approach, which is like these ingredients are but vehicles for an explosion of colour and flavour.
Yeah.
Whereas English food, you don't want to generalise because such, England's a coastal country, there's a huge amount of cheese and fish and meat, but English cuisine is much more about kind of the ingredients on their own.
Yeah, what is English cuisine about?
What is English cuisine? I don't know.
It's about the ingredients on their own as opposed to cooking something like that dish that's got...
Well, I think they're proud about, I think bland, flavourless vegetables.
I don't know if many places serve it like that nowadays.
Not. No, don't you go places and it's just like I went to an unbelievably posh restaurant the other day and they gave me a potato with a knob of butter and sea salt, and I thought, what the hell is this?
Wow, yeah, one potato.
Well, they give me like 4, or they do like buttery new potatoes, and it's just like,
yeah,
I don't like new potatoes. I want a potato curry. But maybe I'm unusual, and I've grown up with spicy food. That's my kind of. I've grown up with spicy food, so maybe I'm kind of like down on English cuisine. Whereas there are particular aspects of English cuisine, like the way we cook meat and fish, which I absolutely love.
And the way we have this incredible like baking heritage. I love all that kind of stuff.
Cakes, ice cream.
You don't want rice.
I love rice. No, I love rice. I love rice. Just a little bit,
This
please.
is the most ridiculous serving utensil. A powder pink silicone tiny spoon.
I've got quite a few of those in my house. That's perfect. I'm going to serve you this. I hope you enjoy it. How do you like it? Just on the side?
Go for it, Amol. That looks delicious.
It does look. I think it's got a lot of colour, hasn't it? So we've got reds and greens.
So would your kids eat this for tea?
If it didn't have the spice, I think 1 or 2 of them would. Whoopsie, sorry. Try not to miss the plate is one of the key things with food. Don't miss the
Would the
plate.
9-year-old eat this?
The 9-year-old would, yeah. The 5-year-old go, what the hell are you doing? I mean, the great challenge of parenthood in the modern age
Number
is
1.
how not to just cook pasta every night.
Oh,
How not
so
to cook
boring.
pasta 8 ways, But your little thing on Instagram about your feta, was it a feta scrambled egg? I saw that and I was like,
That's
oh my
delicious.
God, that's gorgeous.
And it's got that twang that you talked about in the feta.
The feta
I
twang.
think the thing with feeding kids is like just never ever give up. It's like a marathon in front of you, and you just don't
Variety.
ever, just keep going.
I know, but you need variety. Like today, I'm thinking, we're low on pasta and I had pasta last night. So I'm thinking to what are we going to do? And there's always like different ways of doing eggs, which is a big thing. So I might go and cook your feta twang.
Lentils. My kids love lentils. I've grown up eating lentils, like cooked Italian.
Poi lentils.
Yeah, with like a sofrito, cooked down with carrots, onions, lentils. You can add tomatoes or not, loads of herbs, lemon juice, parmesan. You can add little baby pasta in there as well.
Parmesan to lentils.
Yeah. I'm talking to an Indian person about lentils, like an Italian way of cooking.
Oh my God.
My kids have grown up eating that.
Really?
Yeah, or like Middle Eastern lentils with loads of cumin and coriander and lemon juice, and you serve with yogurt. My kids always like things from when they were little, always at the table to add little things that they embellish their own bowlfuls.
Okay, maybe I'll serve some poi lentils with parmesan.
Right,
Cheers.
Cheers, thanks so much.
Can I ask one small favour?
Yeah, of course.
Can you be honest about this?
I will, defo. Squeaky cheese.
Paneer doesn't taste so very much, does it? But the rest of it does.
It's delicious, isn't it? You must know that.
This is absolutely delicious. I'm not going to lie. I could be humble about it, but I mean...
I wish I'd bought some more pickles at home and we could have more pickles on the side. Like chutney pickle.
What kind of pickles? Garlic pickle, lemon pickle?
Yeah,
Lime pickle?
I love fresh turmeric pickle.
Turmeric pickle.
We've got an amazing Indian supermarket. They're like Kenyan Indian. They've been in Bristol since like 1952. And they have this amazing pickle selection in their shop.
I want the crew to have some. The crew would have to have some.
It's delicious. Thanks so much for cooking with me.
I loved it. Thanks for being such an inspiration for me and all exhausted parents in need of variety and change.
Well, you get my advice is you get there.
Really?
Yeah, defo.